Hi guys, it's Shamsa and welcome back to my little kitchen. Today's recipe is lamb bhuna. I'm going to show you how to make this one pot slow cooked meal which is ordered in restaurants across the world. This is my version of how I make it at home and the sauce is just wonderful. You can scoop that up with naan bread, your chapatis, your parathas, and that lamb is super tender. Wonderful recipe for you guys to try at home. Now, before we run through what you need, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn your bell notifications on, and now let's start cooking. So the ingredients you're going to need are as follows, but please remember if you miss any ingredients here, then please refer back to the description box, which is underneath the video on YouTube when it goes live, and we list all our ingredients with the quantities for your ease, and you can refer to that. So we're going to start off with the lamb. I'm using lamb shoulder here today. I've got 1 kg of this cut into medium-sized pieces. Now for this recipe, because it's a one pot slow cooked meal, you can use any kind of meat for this recipe as long as it's chunky and it is a tough meat. So beef would work well as well in this recipe. I've got here sliced onions, freshly chopped tomatoes, and moving on to the spices, we have salt, coriander powder, Kashmiri chilli powder, which is mild in flavour and adds a really nice colour, and turmeric. I've got here regular chilli powder, this is where the heat's going to come from, and cumin powder. I've got here frozen garlic ginger cubes. You can use fresh or you can use the paste if you wish, and we have some whole spices for the curry, and I've got bay leaves here, cinnamon sticks, black and green cardamom pods, and green chillies. Now you can leave this out, but I do add them in because I love them. And bullet chilies are my favourite chilies to add in whole. They add a nice contrast to the dark gravy, but they also add a very distinctive taste and slight heat as well. I'm using coconut oil. You can add whichever oil you want. And to finish the dish off, we have here dried fenugreek leaves, which is known as kasoori meethi, and we've got homemade garam masala, which again a lot of you ask for. I will leave a link for that in the description box because nothing beats homemade masala, garam masala. And I've got fresh coriander to garnish at the end, and we also need water. So let's start cooking. Right, so we're going to begin by using a large pot, and I've got it on the hob. My heat setting for my gas hob is a medium, and the first thing I'm going to do is add my oil in and just allow that to come up to temperature. And then when the oil's nice and hot, we're going to add our whole spices in, and we're going to let them infuse in the oil for around 15 seconds. And now we can add our onions in, and we're going to fry the onions until they're nice and golden brown in colour, which should take approximately 10 minutes. Keep your heat setting on medium, and I'll show you how they look once they're done. So it's been 10 minutes that the onions have been frying away, and they've got this beautiful golden brown colour to them. And now we can add our meat straight in. Also the ginger and garlic. And we're going to just fry that for about a minute or two, just so that we get rid of the rawness from the ginger and garlic. And now we can add our spices in. Give everything a mix. And also the tomatoes. Mix them through as well. And now into this I'm going to add 250 millilitres of water to allow the lamb to cook. Right, I'm going to pop the lid on now, and I'm going to turn my hob settings down to a low for my gas hob, and we're going to allow this to cook away for approximately 45 minutes. Now, after 45 minutes, we're going to check whether the lamb is done. It should be approximately 85% done, 85 to 90% done. And if it isn't, then obviously we will leave it to cook a little longer, but I'll show you exactly how it looks in 45 minutes time. In the meantime, you don't need to touch this. You don't need to do anything. Just go off and relax. There's enough liquid in there for it to cook for the next 45 minutes. So see you guys back then. Right, okay, so it's been 45 minutes that the lamb has been cooking away, and I'm just going to remove the lid to show you. And this is how it looks, and you can see that the onions and tomatoes have broken down really nicely, and the water has almost evaporated. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start the all essential bhunning process. Now Please don't skip this part, because this is the process that helps you develop the flavour of any curries that you make. And now all we're going to do is we're going to cook this without the lid on for the next 10 minutes until the oil starts to separate, and that will help develop that flavour, the meat with the masala and the spices, and cook everything really well. The meat is cooked to approximately 85 to 90%. I did check a piece earlier, and there's bits that are like breaking off in there as well, the smaller bits of meat. So perfectly fine, and I'll see you guys back in around 10 minutes time. Right, so 10 minutes later, and this is how the lamb looks. You can see that the water that was in there, the moisture has evaporated, the oil has started to separate and come around the edges. Now into this we can add our green chillies, and I'm also adding in 200 millilitres of boiled kettle water. And now this is going to bring that sauce back again, that beautiful thick masala. Just give that a mix, and what you want to do is just pop the lid back on again, and on a low gas flame, which I have on my hob, you want to cook this for 5 minutes, just to allow that water that we've added to cook through, and also that sauce to thicken up as well. And after 5 minutes we're going to finish the dish off. And 5 minutes later, the lamb bhuna is ready to be finished off. Just look how wonderful that looks, and the oil has started to separate and come around the edges and the surface. Now to finish this off, I'm going to add my homemade garam masala just over like that. The dried fenugreek I'm going to crush between the palms of my hands before I add that in, to release more flavour and aroma. Beautiful. Just gently mix that through. That lamb is just fully cooked. And the last thing, just sprinkle over some fresh coriander. And there you have it, my one pot lamb bhuna is all ready. Please try the recipe out and let me know in the comments below how you find it. Thank you for watching.